You've tried diet, plans, rules, techniques, and therapies, and every time it's end the same way. Guilt, frustration, feeling like you failed. But listen, what I am about to tell you have nothing to do with motivation, discipline, macro, calorie, or any of the usual stuff you've heard 1,000 times. This isn't a new strategy. It's not a trick, and it's definitely not a new version of eat less, move more. On this video, we're going to explore something most people never discover. A way of seeing your body and your behavior that change everything. I will share the 3 levels of awareness I had to cross to lose weight without dieting and most importantly, without fighting myself. And if you stay with me till the end of the video, there is a moment where it might all click in a way that you never experienced before. Hi, my name is Haidar, and if you don't know me yet, on this brand new channel I talk about the secret science behind manifesting your dream body. Without more introduction, let's go into the first stage of awareness. The first thing we have to understand about this level of awareness is that most of people, I will say 98% of the population, only knows that level and will stay stuck the rest of their life on that level. So if you're here and you're about to hear and discover the other level of awareness, you're gonna be on this infinite minority who understand the limitation of the system we live in. This first stage of awareness, I choose to call it the bag of potato, because when you are looking to lose weight, what you're usually gonna hear and see everywhere is that all those coaches and all those people who want to sell you their techniques, their diet, their courses, their things to help you lose weight, they seem from the outside all different. One is talking about fasting, the other one is talking about detox sugar, the third one is talking about emotional relief. All of them seems to have something different to sell, but that is an illusion. Because in fact, we can resume all those approaches when you go to the root of what is inside, not the marketing, packaging they try to present to you. When you go to the root, and now it's more clear, the more and more clear, they're all talking about the same mechanism to make you lose weight. And this mechanism can be resumed as a bag of potato. Why so? Because they're all talking in a way or another about diminishing, reducing your calorie, so means dieting in a way or another, and trying to make you spend more calorie by exercising. So it's this balance between entry and spend calories, and everyone is pretty much telling you if you want to lose weight, you need to go in a deficit caloric. And you might think, yeah, Haidar, of course, that's like, you have to go through that. That's how it works. And let's say it doesn't work, and it's absolutely not the right way to see the weight loss journey. Why is that? Because everyone is talking about that, but no one really sitting and taking a little bit of perspective on it and thinking, it works with a bag of potato. If you take a scale and you put 50 kilo of potato, and then you take 3 potato off, and those 3 potato, now there is not only 49 kilo on the scale. And then if you add 2 kilo of potato, then you have 51 kilo of potato. That does work. Entry and spend. What you take, what you put. So it does work. But no one is questioning. Maybe, just maybe, a human being is a little bit more complex than a bag of potato. You cannot simplify and resume yourself the infinite complexity of who you are as simply entry and spend as a bag of potato. So this first stage of consciousness is about being a bag of potato, and that's it. And obviously it doesn't work. It's very interesting because if you see the statistic, it shows clearly that when we started to go a lot on the 60s on the diet culture, we started dieting. It's a very modern concept. We can see that more and more people have started to take a cope to go to diabetes, obesity, and all that stuff. Why is that? The more we have been talking about dieting, the more obesity is rising, and it's still going. But that's very surprising because the weight loss industry, the fitness industry, is one of the most profitable. So what I'm saying here is that there is a major scam and no one talk about it. Why is it a scam? Because if this advice of eat less, move more was efficient, if it was working, then the fitness and the weight loss industry would collapse. Why is that? Because this industry rely on the fact that you're going to go back to it every 6 months, every year. Every 6 months, they're going to come back with a new packaging for the same old shit, but with a new packaging, they will tell you, oh, last year it was that, but this year, it's very different. Spring is coming, and we did discover this revolutionary new thing, or the real problem is sugar, or the real problem is your nervous system. No, the real problem is fasting, or the real problem is your hormone, and they all gonna come with that. And the thing is, if it was working, imagine it worked. You do a diet, you lose your weight, and then what? And then you're happy, and then you don't have any more weight to lose because you're happy and you're fine and it's stable. So you never go back to them. You never buy their thing anymore because your problem is solved. But that would be catastrophic. And I'm not saying it's by purpose. I'm just saying that's how the fitness and the weight loss industry works. And the proof that it doesn't work is the proof that you have to go back to it every 6 months, every year. And what is terrible and extremely toxic is that those people will never take responsibility for the failure of their strategy or techniques. Because of course, at the beginning, when you start their programs, you feel the honeymoon of dieting. You feel powerful, you feel motivated, you feel disciplined, you see the result, and you're so happy and you're so excited. And then the more it goes on, the more you start to see the limits. And we'll see why it starts not working after a few weeks, few months, or few years. And then that's when the collapse happens. And they will never own that. They will use your own insecurities, your own fears to make you think in a very toxic way that if you failed, it's not because of their strategy, it's because of you. You failed your diet. It's not the diet that have failed to help you. It's you that have failed the diet. Can you see how it's gaslighting? The thing here is that what if it's not about you? It's not about your motivation. It's not about discipline. it's about dieting not working. That is the hypothesis I want to present here on this video, and more importantly, what to do. Because when we say dieting is not working, cool, where to go from there? You're gonna have all of this on this video, so stick around. Why specifically, why does, because the idea seems making sense, like deficit caloric seems, when you listen to it, you're like, okay, I get it, it does work. Why it doesn't? So the main reason is that your body is not stupid. Your body have been evolving through millions of years of development of life and humanity, and your body is very resilient and adaptable. Your body will adapt to any type of environment. For example, when you go to the gym and then you put some weight on your muscle, then the muscle will adapt, think, okay, next time I have to be ready for that constraint, for that stimulation with the weight on my hand. So I need to make my muscle stronger to be ready for next time. So your body does adapt. But the thing here is that no one talk about the fact that your body also adapt to all type of outside aggression, and your body have adapt to what he consider as a life threat. Your body doesn't know about the coach on Instagram. Your body doesn't know about you wanting to see your six-pack on the mirror. Your body doesn't know about the number on the scale. Your body only knows about survival. Means that your body, when it see that you're diminishing your calorie, of course at the beginning you lose weight. That's mechanic, it does work. But what happened after? Your body detects that and gonna start defense mechanism to avoid losing more weight. Why is that? Because when we were cavemen, losing weight was a threat, because we could spend few days in scarcity, in like an environment where there were no food and starving. Your body know, like your brain have program, special archaic program for starvation. And your body doesn't know that you're doing like a detox or I don't know what bullshit they did sell to you. Your body only think the calorie are going low. I should start to save them as much as possible, mean that it's gonna start to lower your metabolism. The more you are dieting, the more you teach your body to function with less calorie. It will use very various variable as your hormone, your temperature, your different thing, your micro movement, to reduce the number of calorie that you spend. So eat less, spend less. You want to keep losing weight? You have to eat less. And when you eat more or less, then your metabolism go down. And that's gonna take you to being stuck to a plateau. And you're like, I can't get it. I respect my diet. I eat so less. And I see everyone around me, they're eating like more than me. And they're slim, they're fit. And every time I eat like them, I gain weight again. What is wrong with me? I am so unlucky. There is nothing wrong with you. And you're not unlucky. That is only the consequence of teaching your body to be in a survival mode. That's it. It's just teaching your body to function with less. That's the first function. But there is a second, that's the physiological one. But there's others. The other one is that, and there is a study that we call the starvation experimentation of the Minnesota. I think it was on the 50s, I think that's how we say, 50s. And it was Dr. Case that have been studying a group of young men that were in a perfect health, perfect shape, and he put them in a deficit caloric for a few weeks, few months to observe how they're going to react. Of course, they've seen that, the lowering of their metabolism, but that's not the only thing that your body going to do. The second thing is that your brain gonna do everything on his power to rise your motivation to eat. Because when we were cavemen, if you are in an environment where there is no resources, it's gonna give you that motivation, that feeling of I need food, I want food, so you will move somewhere where there is food. And to do that, your brain gonna start to put all the focus on food. You're gonna start to think about food all the time. Food obsession. You're gonna smell food, you're like smelling, you view, you're gonna start, on your algorithm to see video of food, you're gonna start to be very into food topics with people around you, watching people eating, being curious what I eat on a day and all those things. And on this study, on the Minnesota, they did observe that those men who had, they before the experiment, before the deficit caloric, they didn't had any interest for food. They didn't really had, like for them, food was just a way of having energy. They were like eating and that's it. And they were fine. But as soon as they've been through that experimentation, they become hyper focused on the food topic and to be obsessed about it. And you might think, oh yeah, I have that, and I know it's a problem. It's because I am binge eater, or it's because I have a eating disorder. No, it's not. It's simply because it's a natural way for your brain to adapt to survive. That's the second thing, the psyche, the space food takes on your mind. So if you're listening to me and you recognize yourself on thinking about food all the time, that might be a sign that your body is afraid and in a survival mode. And we'll see there is not only, it's not only restriction on your plate. Restriction is not on your plate. Restriction is a way of thinking, is a way of feeling. Dieting is not a way of eating. Dieting is a way of thinking. Dieting is a way of feeling. We will see that later, but that's important to say. And the third thing, why is it not working, is that the more you try to not eat certain type of food or certain quantity, or trying to diminish the quantity, or trying to eliminate some type of food, as like you're gonna start judging some type of food, call them junk food, saying it's heavier food, it's toxic, it's bad for me, I am addicted to sugar, and blah, 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 and all those dieting bullshit. And so what's gonna happen is that you're gonna start pushing those type of food. And the more you resist to something, the more you push something, what happens is that you make those type of food, and the food in general, being rare. And when something is rare, something is precious. Means that the more you try to eliminate those foods, paradoxically, I have no idea if that word exists in English. I hope it does. But paradoxically, hopefully it does. Let me know in the comment if it's the case or not. What will happen is that you're creating a relationship of dependency, of attraction, a tension between you and food. So what will happen? Yes, you will respect your diet for a certain period. But if you have Friday and you say, oh, Monday, I'm going back to my diet. But this weekend, it's fine. I'm tired. What will happen is that your brain is not stupid. He will be like, oh, okay, I get it. Monday, food will be taken off me, will be taken away of me. So what I should do is to try to take as much as possible to anticipate the future scarcity, the future restriction. Or it works on the other way. If you have been starving yourself and you have been, not giving your body the permission to eat whatever he wants, whenever he wants, how much he wants, then it's obvious that as soon as you're going to be a bit tired, there's going to be an event, there's going to be something, then your brain going to revenge. Your brain going to be like, quick, this food that it's usually so rare, precious, we can't access it. It's here. We don't care about, or if I feel full or not full, or doesn't care about that. Your body wants to eat as much as possible, as quick as possible. And there is nothing wrong with that. That is a natural mechanism of your body. Binge eating is not the problem. Binge eating for your body is in fact the solution. The solution to what? To defend itself against dieting. Because dieting is perceived by your whole organism, physiologically, psychologically, emotionally, even spiritually, as an aggression. And when there is an outside aggression, then your body reacts. If I take my hand and I put it on the hot oven, I burn my hand. If I do that, my whole organism is going to react. I'm going to feel pain, so I'm going to take my hands away because my body is going to tell me that is a really, really bad idea to leave your hand on that place. Take it off. Take it off. It's saved by the pain on my hand. And then what happened? Then my skin gonna be red, gonna be inflamed, gonna be, all of those reactions. Is the inflammation of my skin the problem? No, that is the reaction. That is the symptom. The problem is that I've put my hand on a hot oven, stove, or whatever. So dieting is the problem. The reaction of your body is not. And in fact, those three things, physiologically, psychologically, emotionally, make you feel that you are like addict to sugar or addict to food. You're not. Or in fact, you're addict to breathing as well. So it doesn't make sense. But it's just that you are creating that tension. And the problem is that when your body and your brain start thinking there is not enough food outside, because we can see that it's lower, then your body gonna think something very simple. We need to store food inside. How does your body store food? Means energy inside. It stores by creating and feeding the fat cells on your body. So not only you teach your body to use less calorie, but you also teach your body to storage. Of course, he thinks there is no food outside, so he will do the opposite. He will be like, okay, as soon as there is high potential caloric food, so very, so industrial food, because it's very densely caloric, this food, your brain loves it because it's going to be able to consume it and then to store it in the goal, on the purpose, not to go against you, not to bother you, not to make you depressed, but to make you survive. And then you're going to feel bad because you see that you're gaining fat again, and then you will fight back again. And that's how you enter on the cycle of restriction, compulsion, and you're welcome in the world of dieting, of fitness, of hating your body, of fighting your body, and it's hell. It's terrible because it consumes your whole energy, your whole time for no results. It doesn't take you anywhere else than feeling like a failure and then fighting your body and then gaining weight. I see so many people starting when they are on their 20s, they want to lose 2 or 3 kilos, and then I meet those people 10, 20, 30 years after, and it's not 2 or 3 kilos that we are talking anymore about. It's 10, 15, 20 kilos that they've gained because they had to lose 2 kilos and they've lost 3, and they've taken 4, you always have a little bonus, and lose 5 and taking 6 and like that's the yo-yo effect of dieting. So most people would have a perfect like relationship with food, their body, and specifically with their self-esteem and identity. If you've seen the previous episode, you know how important that is in terms of body, if they haven't ever started dieting. So dieting, deficit caloric, when you choose to use your self will to go in a deficit caloric, you are in fact preparing yourself to gain weight on the long run. But that is the bag of potato awareness where most of people are and will be. Now let's go to the second level of awareness. So the second level is the one I choose to call the intermediate level. Why is that? Because this level is where there is more and more people now arriving, is people awakening from the first level and understanding that dieting doesn't work. And that's where we see all the movement as intuitive eating, food therapy, and all those like new movements or body positive and stuff like this, where we are trying to heal from the toxicity of dieting and to have a better relation with food and body. And most of people think, okay, intuitive eating, that is the way, and it's good. And it is, I think it is really good. I had to, personally to go through that. And I think everyone have to go through that intermediate phase of awareness, but that is not the end. That is not the resolution. And let me explain why. Because there is some limitation. Of course, it is important because it's finally, after years of fighting yourself and your body, give you the opportunity to give yourself some space, some permission. You can go to reconnect with your body, with your needs, with your limits, and that is great. But what happened is that on this level of awareness, the intermediate, there is still the belief of there is something wrong with you. There is something wrong with the way you eat. There is something wrong with your food behavior. So we move from a place where there were like good food, bad food, to a place where there's good food behavior and bad food behavior. Let me give you an example. We can see often, and I see that on intuitive eating, people who are like doing promotion of their things or very proud of themselves because they order like a dessert and they haven't finished it. And they will take a picture and be like, oh, I'm so great. I have such a good relationship with food because I didn't finish my dessert. And I think that is very problematic. Why? First, because we still have the idea that it's a good thing to eat less. That is very connected to dieting. And the second thing is that you're still thinking that you can do good thing and wrong thing with food. But as we discussed in a previous episode that I put here, food is not moral. Food behavior, there is no moral behind them. What does that mean? Does it mean that if you finish your dessert or you don't finish it, we don't care? That have nothing. That is not a succeed. Why is it not? Because if you consider that not finishing your dessert is a good thing and you're going to reward yourself and feel good about yourself, then what's going to happen when 2 days after you're going to be hungry and then you're not going to eat half a dessert, but you're going to eat 2 desserts or 3 desserts? Then what? You're going to have the opposite polarity. You're going to feel bad. You're going to feel guilty. And you're going to feel as you failed. So pretty much it is better because it's less violent and you're like more focused on yourself. But it is still a dogma where there's right and wrong. And especially the problem is that you keep your focus on food and body. You're still trying to heal your eating disorder, to heal your binge eating, as if it was a problem. You haven't still reached the third level that I'm about to tell you. You're still thinking that you should heal. And I think that is a big trap, because you can stay on that intermediate level for years. And I also see a lot of people complaining about it, because they go into that, they really believe in it, and few months or years after, they find themselves gaining a lot of weight, still not really peaceful with food, because they're always analyzing and thinking, have I eaten enough? Am I restricting? It's always, control. The control is always here. And we'll talk about it after. So, of course, this level is important because it releases you. But it is just a phase to go where? To go to the ultimate, the third level of awareness. And that's what I'm about to present. The third level of awareness that so few people reach is the one that I've chosen to call integrative awareness. Integrative means different thing. The first thing is it means that we move from a place where you've here on the two first stages, levels, we focus on the mental, the thinking. We are thinking, we are understanding, we are analyzing. On that third level is not about understanding anymore. It's about integrating. Integrating means that it's not thinking, is feeling, is being. It's a level where your awareness is not only on your mind, but is on your whole body. There is a major difference between understanding. For example, with this video, the only thing I can help you with is to understand. But integrate is something radically different, is something that you feel. So what is it to integrate this level of awareness? This level of awareness, it's integrative because you make your body and your mind and your brain feel safe again. Mean that you have reached the level where you're not seeing yourself as a failure anymore, and you're not seeing yourself as an eating disorder person or someone who have problem with his food behavior. You're seeing yourself, your identity is to be a human being who is perfectly healthy, but have been going through some experimentation with outside aggression. And when you understand that all the journey you did go through is perfectly normal, then what you do is to simply remove yourself from it. How do you remove yourself from it? The first phase is to give your body everything that he wants and need. And yes, it is scary. I've made a video. I was eating 7,000 calories a day on this phase. You can check on the episode that I'm putting right now, and I describe this phase that has changed my life. But this phase was essential to make my body and my brain understand that food is available. Food is abundant. Food is here. And my body and my brain, after a few weeks, started to feel, okay, we are safe. We don't need to store all those calories inside the body because there's shelving, there's storage on the fridge and outside and on those shops. Food is everywhere. Food is abundant. Food is neutral morally. There is no, there is no importance. It is just food. And when you understand that, then that's when the magic happened. Why? Because you finally understand that your food problems or your weight problem or your body problem have never been the problem. They were only symptoms. They were only the consequence of something much deeper and the root cause of your suffering. And when we talk about that, some people will say, oh, I understand that, but I have been going through a lot of therapy. I have been doing 10, 15 years of therapy, and I still have the same problem. Because it's not about therapy. It's not about thinking. It's not about analyzing. It's not about understanding. That is even more control. And I think sometimes it's not helpful. And sometimes you have been going through all this therapy, all the self-help, those self-improvement thing, and you have learned so many things, and you find yourself even more lost because you have all those information, all those tools, all those things, but you don't know what to do with it. And you don't understand why your life, your day-to-day life still sucks. And the reason is because the root is not about your trauma, is about your identity. It is about your belief about yourself, your self-worth, your history, who you are. You believe in your perception on others, on the people around you. You believe in perception on the world, on how things work. And of course, you believe in perception on food and dieting, and all of this means that nothing can change on your body, on the mirror, on the scales, till you don't understand that all of this is only a reflection of what is inside. What does that mean? It means that the real work you have to do is not changing your outside circumstances. It is about start seeing, because you have been so used to your way of believing, of thinking. You have those neurological highway on your brain. You have those routine of thinking, those routine of feeling, and so used to them that for you, it is just what it is. It is just normal. That is just who you are. That is just how it works. You don't even question them anymore, because for you, it's just true. But all of this is just a building, it's just a construction. And if you're suffering, and if you are struggling with yourself, with body, with food, with any other thing, with your relation, with your self-worth, with addiction, with all of this, is only a symptom calling for you to check inside of you. And I know it can seem a bit complex, being like, yeah, but how do we do that? Like, there is one essential tool to move from chaos and being lost to clarity and structure. And that tool is the Maslow pyramid, the pyramid of need, who is an extremely basic and simple tool, but it is absolutely essential. Why is that? Because Abraham Maslow had discovered something very simple but essential, is that every human being have his individuality, but we have what we call those universal needs. And all human, you and me included, all the time that we know it, we like it or not, we are aware of it or not, are trying to claim on our pyramid. Why? Because you need to fulfill one stage to go to the next one and to the next one. And that's what gives us the structure. So quickly, the first stage is the physiological needs: drinking, eating, breathing, and reproducing, going to the bathroom. Physiological need. When you feel those needs, then the second stage is security. And the third stage is social needs. And the fourth stage is self-needs, identity needs. And the last stage is needs of sense, of purpose. What the fuck am I doing here? What is my life for? And when you understand that so many smart people, and maybe one of them, have spent their whole life trying to solve their trauma, their childhood, and at the level 4 of the pyramid, but had never ever sit down and realize that maybe whole of their energy is actually stuck at the first or the second level. And you will never ever being able to do the work I just said about your identity if you can't first make your physiological need and your safety needs met. Means giving your body the permission, radical permission to eat and to feel safe. And I know it's scary when you get that point, but it is essential, because when you cross that fear, when you cross that big bridge, then you enter on the real field of the work that needs to be done. Who are you? Or who you think you are? Who society told you you are? Who your family told you you are? Who you misbelieve you are? And is that who you want to be? Are you happy with it? I mean, if you see yourself as a fat person who is always rejected and have a very low esteem and that fail everything that tries, then there is no chance, because you will always, by your belief, by your thoughts, and by your action, being aligned with that identity. So the only experience you have, even if you're trying to go out of here, is to go back to that and think, yes, I'm fat and I failed. And that is why dieting is even more toxic, not only for your body, but for your identity. Because after years of fighting your body, you might have not lose weight, but you probably lose your self-esteem and a lot of money. The only thing that is more slim and have lose weight is your wallet. And the final point of that third stage of awareness is to understand that what you really want is not losing weight. I know you really believe that and you have been so focused on this, but you don't want to lose weight. What you really want is the feeling that losing weight will give you. If you really close your eyes and you see yourself losing the weight you want to lose and succeeding through that journey, and you are on that body you dream of, how does it make you feel? Do that exercise. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel proud? Does it make you feel joy? Does it make you feel safe? Does it make you feel attractive? Does it make you feel lovable? That's what you want. You want to have those feelings. And you have convinced yourself then those feelings are dependent of a number on the scale than a reflection in a mirror. That is where the mistake and the illusion are. Because those feelings, you can have them right now. They are not dependent in any outside circumstances. You do not need people to like you to feel loved. You don't need the reflection on the mirror to tell you if you're beautiful or not. You don't need the scale to tell you if you're a worthy person or not. In fact, when you do that, you're choosing to give your power away. But my offer here on this channel is to take your power back. Take your power back inside. You're thinking, when I will be slim or fit, I will be happy. I'm telling you that's the opposite. when you will be happy without any condition, that's when you're gonna give the opportunity to your body to go where it needs to go, where it wants to go. And for that, you have to understand that self-love is not about being beautiful and loving yourself all the time. That is not self-love. That's narcissism. Self-love is about to being able to accept yourself without any condition. You love yourself when you're fit. You love yourself when you're fat. You love yourself when you're energetic. You love yourself when you're tired. You love yourself when you are surrounded by a lot of people and popular. You love yourself when you're alone. You love yourself whatever are the circumstances outside you. If you're not on this experimentation, then you're not free. And then you're not safe because you're lying and dependent and vulnerable to the outside circumstances. And that's the whole message of that third stage of awareness. So the day you do that work, then you start to shift your identity and become the person you want to be. And when you become that person, then you thoughts gonna start evolving with those new beliefs, and those new thoughts gonna lead to new routines, to new actions, and those new actions to a new reality and to a new body. And that is how you manifest your body. If you're still listening to me now, have a lot of happiness and proud that you're still with me, because this is a very long video and I'm just at the beginning of this YouTube journey, and you've done it, and you're now one of this absolutely minority of people who are aware of that. I hope that what I'm sharing here makes sense for you. If it's the case, if you're still here, I will be very interested and curious for you to leave me a comment to tell me what you think. How does those ideas resonate with you? What are your questions? Do you agree or maybe you disagree? Whatever you want to share, please share it on the comment space. I'm very excited to read you and to reply. In any case, I'm glad you did it. Thank you for your attention, and I can't wait to meet you on the next episode when we will go even deeper, further on that journey. Au revoir.